What's up, everybody? So I wasn't gonna make a video today. I was gonna make this video tomorrow, but I actually want to stream tomorrow. So I was like, you know what? I'll just get this one out a little bit later today and have this video go out today instead of tomorrow, so I can have enough time to be able to stream tomorrow. So expect that tomorrow. Expect me to stream, or I'll stream some point this week. It will almost 100% be tomorrow, but sometimes things come up, so we just have to see, in all honesty. But I do believe it's going to be tomorrow, so make sure to look out for that. Tomorrow night around like 6 or 7 p.m. is probably when I'll start streaming. So today we're going to continue the free agent target series, which I love making. It's very fun to cover players that don't play for the team that you could see in the the foreseeable future actually playing in the black and gold. So I'm always looking for ways that we can better this team, because you can never get too good, okay? So going out and getting players that, at positions that need to be fixed is definitely the way to go. And we already covered wide receivers and we covered corners. Those, in my opinion, are our two biggest needs leading into free agency. But now we got to cover linebackers, because this is my third biggest need. As you know, there were a lot of injuries last year, a lot. And so my reasons for making this video: linebacker was a weak point last year. Of course, you have Anzalone coming back. Anzalone. I think you guys say Anzalone, but either way, he's coming back, but that doesn't solve much. The injuries last year actually ended up costing us games, and my biggest example for this is against the San Francisco 49ers. They literally attacked the middle all day. Also, Kiko Alonso is hurt really bad. With his torn ACL that he tore against Minnesota, he will likely not be ready to play until around week 6 or 7, because ACLs take forever to repair, and he's already torn it before, so it's kind of like a, will he be the same player type of thing. He is also an $8 million cap casualty, so keeping him on the team for half of a season at the price of $8 million just simply doesn't make sense to me. And that right there, in my opinion, automatically puts the New Orleans Saints in the market for linebackers. I'm going to explain why I think we should, try to get the position that I'm talking about in the video every single time I make these videos, so no one's confused. Like, we don't need that. I will be doing one on offensive guard as well, so don't you guys miss that one, because I know a lot of you really don't like Andrus Peat. So here are some options we can choose for either cheaper or reasonable prices, cheaper than Kiko Alonso, or reasonable prices to help fill the second, in my opinion, biggest hole on our defense. Before I start the video, if you want to support the channel during the offseason, I do have a Patreon down in the description. Go ahead and click that. But until, aside from that, let's go ahead and start. So the first person I want to talk about is Patrick Onwuazu. It's a very difficult name to pronounce, but he is a great player that I've been keeping up with for the past 2 or 3 years. He's a Baltimore Ravens unrestricted free agent. Pat is a perfect example of a cheap player that can pan out extremely well if given the correct circumstances. This 28-year-old linebacker is one of the biggest reasons the Baltimore Ravens linebacking core was so solid for the past couple of years. Now, he did have a rough patch last year, but that was because of the amount of places he switched, and I'll get into that more in a minute. Last year, though, he did rack up 65 tackles, 3 sacks, 6 QB hits, and a forced fumble in limited roles throughout the entirety of the season, except for like the back half. At first, he was playing very limited. He got benched for 2 people that came off of the street because he just was not playing right. That happens to players sometimes, and that is a huge reason why this dude is going to be so cheap as well. He looks to me like someone that's going to pan out to be a massive steal. Sporttrack.com is giving him an estimated $4.8 million a year market value. That's $1.2 million more than Latavius Murray's current contract, and almost $4 million less than what Kiko Alonso would get paid for half a season. It seems a bit optimistic that Pat would generate that much bump in pay from $3 million, considering a somewhat rough 2019 season, but he has shown promise in the past, and his playmaking ability was on display at times for Baltimore last year as well. regardless, it's hard for me to sit here and say that I'd value him anywhere near what Sport Track does, and as we head into free agency, simply because he played better in 2016 and 2017 than he has in the last 2 years. That is also because his position switch, though. Like I said, there were times where he was playing in multiple positions in the linebacking core in a single game. If we give him one set spot to let himself marinate and get ready to play, I think he can come out with some similar characteristics to Demario Davis. Here are his career stats. And, you know, I mentioned Demario Davis because listen to these stats. In 2018, Patrick Onwuazu, it's so hard to say. I'll get better at saying it if we do end up signing him. Had 59 tackles, 5.5 sacks, and an interception. It's almost identical to Demario Davis's last stat line as a New York Jet. In 2019, on the Baltimore Ravens, he had 64 tackles and 3 sacks in limited roles, in limited snap counts. So this is somebody that I could see coming and actually making a pretty big impact. Let's move on to number 2, though. The number 2 player I'd like to talk about on this list is everyone's favorite man to hate. I'm playing. He's actually a pretty respectable dude. Is Cory Littleton. The Los Angeles Rams got a steal when they signed Cory Littleton as an undrafted free agent back in 2016. The 6'3", 26-year-old linebacker had a breakout year in 2019, recording 134 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hits, 3.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 4 fumbles recovered, 2 interceptions, and 9 passes defended. Although that stat line is impressive, what may be more impressive is Cory Littleton's, I'm getting mixed up with the NBA here, his ability to not miss a game. He is extremely durable. He hasn't missed a game through his entire career. His price tag is likely going to go up, though, especially after having 2 consecutive years of insanely good productivity. Littleton was a Pro Bowler in 2018. That is the same year he was selected to be an AP All-Pro second-team player. If the Saints were able to, maneuver their way around cap space and, try to get rid of the cap space casualties, they should most definitely pursue a player like who is a franchise linebacker. He had an absolutely insane 78.9 grade on Pro Football Focus, which grants him access to the 75-plus club where only the best linebackers reside. Dream signing right here. He would make this defense insane. If you want to go look at some ways the New Orleans Saints could make cap space, Kiko Alonso, his injury, he's one of the players that I talked about in that video. It actually did very well, 2.7K views. Thank you guys so much for that. But if you want to wonder, if you're sitting here wondering, how are we going to get cap space for a player like this? Go ahead and watch that video. I gave easy ways for the Saints to make $50 million in cap space. Let's go ahead and move on to the last player on this list, who is also a player that is a dream signing, is very good, someone that could literally make this defense so elite. I was going to go with Golden from the New York Giants, but I didn't. I went with someone else, and that is someone that you guys probably aren't going to want on the team just because of where he came from in the past. That is Kyle Vande. I turned down the wrong thing. That is Kyle Van Noy. Kyle Van Noy is an extremely underrated player that played for the New England Patriots for the past couple of years and is now an unrestricted free agent. After a handful of strong seasons as an edge defender in New England system, Van Noy is in line for a pretty big payday. He's 28 years old and may want to cash in on a deal which sets up his family because he's only made $9 million over his 5 or 6 year NFL career. We'll get into why in a little bit. In 2018, though, he proved he could hold his own in the middle of the field with 92 tackles. 92 tackles. Absolutely insane. He has the talent to be one of the NFL's best. He's again the reason that one of the reasons that New England had one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the league last year. It all went through Kyle Van Noy. And this is another signing that is going to take an immense amount of cap magic. Let's go ahead and look at some of Kyle Van Noy's career stats. Apparently, I don't have them pulled up, which is foolish of me, but don't worry, guys. I'll get it pulled up right now. So, in 2019, he had 6.5 sacks and 56 tackles. In 2018, he had 3.5 sacks, 92 tackles, and an interception. In 2017, he had 5.5 sacks and 73 combined tackles. So, this is a player right here. He's always been a playmaker for the entirety of his career. The first 3 years he played with the Detroit Lions, so there's not much you can ask from him there. The Detroit Lions are the epitome of garbage, so he's a Super Bowl champion, someone that could come and mentor our younger linebacking group. I would love somebody like Kyle Van Noy to come to town. So this is one of the videos that I wasn't really sure how they were going to go. The free agent or linebacker class isn't as deep as I would like it to be, but this is something that the Saints are probably going to really want to pursue, if not delve into the draft. A veteran leader in the linebacking department is desperately needed. A.J. Klein is great, but when you're not an elite player yourself, it's going to be kind of hard to make the players around you elite. So getting a really, really, really good franchise linebacker could be in the near sight for the New Orleans Saints. But until then, I'm just a fake reporter, fake reporting. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Top Free Agent Targets for the New Orleans Saints, where we covered linebackers. If you have any other requests, leave them down in the comment section below. It's gonna be a long off season. Feel free to speak your mind. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode, and I'll see you boys in the next one. Adios.